welcome to this episode of our continuous discussion on the things that are happening in Nigeria. And today we are looking at the situation that relates to the 2027 elections and the fact that we are supposed to have a democracy where different people, different parties struggle for votes. And interestingly, we are having something that is totally strange, never happened in Nigeria's politics before. We have a situation where two serving governors of the People's Democratic Party, that is the main opposition party, have already declared their support for the undeclared presidential ambition of the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And with me to discuss this matter today is Barrister Mark Jacob from Kaduna State, where he was the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice for the state, and served also as the National Legal Adviserl of the People's Democratic Party, the main opposition party in Nigeria. Mark Jacob, please, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
What sense do you make of what is happening, that even before the president declares his ambition to contest the election and is warning through his spokespersons that people should not be bothered about 2027, but that he is bothered about governance now? But we already have key leaders of the opposition party, that is your party, declaring support for the undeclared ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Well, first of all, my concern is that, just as you said in the opening sentence, it is also the first time that under 2 years of a regime, people are already discussing succession. People are already, political parties or politicians are not talking about governance. They are discussing about elections in 2027. First of all, for me as a Democrat and as a person who is interested in the growth of the country, it is a total disappointment that nobody is discussing the performance of the regime. Nobody is talking about whether the dividends of democracy have been delivered. We are now focusing on the next election. It is a misnomer that ought not to be what Nigeria should be discussing. And it is a shame that already, without discussing whether there is performance, whether there is deliverables on the part of those in government today, we are talking about the next election. And it pays, or it ends credence to the accusation that civil society organizations, general commentators on politics in Nigeria always say that the politician only bothers about the next election, not on performance. And it's a shame that the political class, it's a shame that the political class is giving credibility to that assertion that the politicians are only bothered about the next election, not their performance, not their deliveries on the promises they made to the electorate. So that's my first take on this issue. Now, the second thing is that Nigeria is in trouble because all through the country, as we look around, we see a lot of things that are wrong. But those things are not also the talking points amongst politicians and amongst even the general public. So what is wrong? Is Nigeria really a country? Is it a nation? Is Nigeria interested in building itself, or we are just interested in the ambitions of individuals, particularly politicians? And it's sad that our country does not concentrate on those issues that should bother a nation. but we're busy talking about the individual who are particularly the politicians who are canvassing for positions and are already campaigning for the next positions they want to occupy. For me, I'm worried. As a country, where are we heading to? Thank you.
Now, but let's go back to the issue. I know some of this call for the worrying, but does it mean that the PDP has actually come to the end of the road? If key
Well, for
people,
me,
we've had rumors,
yes.
we had rumors in the past that two other governors whose names have not been mentioned were struggling or angling, positioning themselves to become vice president to the president. Now we have two governors whose names were previously not mentioned, already declaring support for the prospective presidential candidate of the opposition party. And now that means that four PDP governors are out. So does it mean that the PDP to which you belong has given up on the next election?
You see, now my concern on all these issues is simply that governors, some of them, have elevated themselves to positions that do not exist. You can't become a god with the small letter G, of course, in the affairs of the country. It is a shame that some governors now ascribe to themselves the goddish personality, where they think when they take a decision or where they say things, everybody follows. Governors, former governors, assume that they have absolute control over the populace or over the electorate or over the membership of political parties. This is an abnormality. It is undemocratic. It is not something that anybody should accept. So when governors assume that because as persons, as individuals, they have now decided, or one of them has decided that he wants to throw his weight behind a particular candidature, it is or it has become the decision of the whole. It's an abnormal thing, and nobody should take it serious. The PDP has an advantage over all other political parties, and let me say this with all due respect. The PDP is the only party that has its stronghold or has its spread in all the 774 local governments and in all the wards of Nigeria. You go to any local government, go to any ward of a local government, you find structures of the PDP existing in those locations. Now, what makes sense and what should be the correct thing is that there should be a decision from bottom up, not top down, where because you are now a governor, you now assume or you now assert that because this is what you think, this is what you say, everybody down the ladder must follow it. Some
Are
people
you
are going to be
suggesting
shocked.
that what these governors have done will not affect the fortunes of the party?
Certainly, they have a Herculean task to pass or to convince the teaming members of the PDP to agree with them. When you say that your own party that gave you ticket to become governor should not field a candidate for certain positions like the presidency, because as a person, you have done some analysis and you think that the party should not do or should not field such candidates, you are deceiving yourself. because that may not be the general decision or thinking of the members of the party in the 774 local government, because there is no scientific proof that you have attempted to ask or get the consent or approval of members of the political party in those structures. And these are not, what do you call it, video or audio structures. These are real structures. In my local government, for instance, I have assurance and I can confirm that in all the wards in my local government, there are party leaders, there are structures. And if I want to speak on behalf of my local government, I must consult them. What is happening is that some of these governors have no respect for the structures and they don't talk to them. And sometimes it's largely because they believe they are the ones funding the structures. So they speak before consultation. And I'm hoping that this will give birth to real politics, to genuine politics, where the people would take their destiny in their hands and tell the governors or whoever is in a position of authority and is speaking without consulting them to assert themselves. We are seeing it over and over, that people just stand up and issue press statements without confirming, without having the decency of consulting with the structures under them. And this is one of the problems that the PDP has faced over the years, that individuals who are opportune to be in positions of authority by virtue of the platform granted to them by the PDP, suddenly, instead of becoming or being servants to the people or the structure that brought them up, suddenly they become like emirs. They sit as mayors and kings, and everybody kowtows to them. This is a misnomer. The structure that gave birth to you should be superior to you. And the situation where we have governors or local government chairmen or party leaders becoming superior to members and to the structures that produce them is a total misnomer. And it is undemocratic, it's absurd, and nobody should encourage it to continue. And I'm praying that because people have taken advantage of the silence of the majority, that people who have become governors or have become leaders by virtue of the structures that gave birth to them would certainly be taught a lesson because of the things they are doing currently.
Well, I want to call your attention to what happened in 2003 to
Yes.
the AD when the AD governors, for some ethnic reasons, decided to support President Olusegun Obasanjo in the Southwest in the 2003 elections.
Thank you.
Do you foresee a situation where, don't you foresee a situation rather where this support for the APC presidential candidate may result in APC winning elections in all the states as far as the governorship election and National Assembly elections are concerned, because a bandwagon effect could be created by the victory of the APC?
Well, yeah, in 2003, I recall, yes, that something similar happened. But you see, Nigerians are suffering today. Nigerians are going through pains. Nigerians are not in the situation that presented itself in 2003. In 2003, we know what the cost of a bag of rice was. We know what it was like to fill your tank. If you have a car, it was 15,000 naira to fill your tank. Today, you have to spend 80,000 naira to fill the same tank. We know what the cost of foodstuff was. And so, Nigerians, and by virtue of experience and exposure, Nigerians have become wiser. They have become more interested in and concerned about politics. And for instance, those who didn't bother about who becomes councillor in their community now know that the councillor can suddenly become very powerful and take decisions on their behalf. They now know that the person who becomes local government chairman can make rules or laws that would inhibit and limit their freedoms. So people are now interested in politics. And honestly, there will be a shocker to people who assume that they can take the Nigerian populace for a ride. There will be a total. Today, I was speaking to a few of my friends in the political arena. And one of them told me, sir, for the first time in my life, I'm not going to vote along party lines. I'm going to vote based on candidature, the quality of candidates presented by different political parties. So, and this information or submission was unsolicited because we're just talking of where is Nigeria heading to. And people are now saying, look, we are no longer talking about whether I'm a member of APC or PDP or PRP. They are talking about who is the candidate presented by the political party. So if governors, ministers, people in office today make the mistake of thinking that because they are in a so-called political party, they can win elections, they are going to get a shock of their lives. Because Nigerians have grown. The hardship in the country has taught us a lesson. And then the long haul in political experience from 1999 to date has helped Nigerians to mature. The experiences between 1999 and 2003 have grown to the extent that this is 2025. Anybody imagining that what obtained in 2003 is going to happen in 2027 does not know Nigeria. Nigerians are growing and things are going to be different. I believe it.